It happens to everyone eventually. Your computer goes on the fritz. Fear not, Slayton's Technology Services can help. When your computer decides to not cooperate, it can be very frustrating. Let Slayton's Technology Services keep you from wanting to drive your computer right off a cliff. Slayton's Technology Services supports business of all sizes. They offer assistance with managed anti-malware, encrypted email, fast tech support, data backup, and recovery, and more. Call Slayton's Technology Services at 715-864-2833 and get the IT help you desire. Slayton's Technology Services is the official IT service for the Northern Light Webcasting Network. The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV proudly bring you Wisconsin Baseball Association State Tournament action with pool play from Carson Park in Eau Claire. Stay with us as we bring you all the action from pools 1 and 2 to see which two teams will make it to the Final Four on Sunday in Osseo. And now, out to Carson Park and the next WBA State Tournament game.
And good afternoon, or good morning, and welcome to Carson Park for the WBA State Pool Play and Day 2. And we're going to get things started in just a couple of minutes with the Eau Claire Cavaliers taking on the Everest Merchants. Cavaliers dropping their first game to the River Falls Fighting Fish last night by a score of 10-0. So that means they face the Merchants right away this morning. If the Cavaliers have any hope at all, and they're very slim, of getting to the Final Four tomorrow, they need to defeat Everest, and they need to do it fairly handily, and then maybe they will be fortunate enough to move on tomorrow. But we have a game to play today, and with me is Ben Boda doing color. Ann Monroe is on the computer, and Ben Ryder. We've been talking so much about, I almost did that to you yesterday, and I knew I was going to do that before the season was over. At least it's a good guy I called you.
I'll take the compliment.
And Dan Petshaw on the camera. So, Ben, why don't you tell us who's playing in today's game?
DC Everest is going to face the Eau Claire Cavaliers. DC Everest comes in with a 14-7 record. And
Ben, before you get any further, they're not DC Everest. That's the high school. This is Everest, the Everest Merchants.
Thank you. Thank you. So, playing center field, Wade Farmer, batting first. Batting second, Ronia McGuire, playing first base. Batting third, Brandon Cratch. Batting fourth, playing third base, Josh Nielsen. Playing right field, batting fifth, number 20, Ryan Hubacek. Batting sixth, number 29, catcher, Nick Barnes. The DH is Connor Longen. Playing left field, batting eighth, number 12, Killinson Schilling. Batting ninth, playing shortstop, Tanner Graham. And pitching, number 99, Heinrich Walder.
Okay, just a couple of corrections on that. Number 13, the designated hitter, is Connor Langben. Langben is his name. The rest of it you got pretty close. Okay, why don't you go through the Cavs since Everest is still doing their ins and outs.
Batting first for the Eau Claire Cavaliers, the shortstop, Caden Erickson. Batting second for the Eau Claire Cavaliers, third baseman, Xavier Bemnister. Batting third, center fielder, Gabe O'Brien. Batting fourth, right fielder, Jack Redwine. Batting fifth, catcher, Cole Timon. Batting sixth, playing left field, Campbell Kapanke, who is our Geno's player of the game. Not to steal your thunder, Rick, but I will. Batting seventh, third baseman, Tyson Woodcock. Batting eighth, second baseman, Josh Garcia. Batting fourth, the pickup player, Gio Basil, the DH.
And on the mound?
And on the mound will be Lucas Costley, number 8.
And Costley comes into the game with an 8-1 record, 2.77 earned run average. He's got 62 strikeouts in 68 and a third innings pitched and a 1.32 whip. An important record was set last night in the Cavalier loss to the River Falls Fighting Fish, and that's Andrew Milner just set a Cavalier franchise record for strikeouts in a season with 103 strikeouts on the year. Umpires for tonight's game: on the bases, we have Teddy Joas and Paul Osman, and Dan Hoffman is behind the plate. We have just had the Everest Merchants doing their ins and outs, and we're about to have the managers meeting at home, which also means we're going to be sending it over to Steve Kent, the public address announcer, for his pregame announcements, and he should be coming up with that any moment now.
Good morning and welcome to Eau Claire, Wisconsin, historic Carson Park Baseball Stadium for today's Wisconsin Baseball Association State Finals, game number 5. It's a matchup between the 14-7 Everest Merchants and the 21-16 Eau Claire Cavaliers. The Eau Claire Cavaliers would like to remind you that attending this event is a privilege. With this privilege comes the responsibility to conduct oneself in a manner where the game is built for all fans and participants. Failure to behave in such a manner will result in removal from this facility. Let's remember to show pride in our teams and communities by demonstrating good sportsmanship toward all players, coaches, fans, and officials. Thank you. All balls are the property of Eau Claire Cavaliers Baseball Club. Please return off all balls to the souvenir stand located on the third baseline and will receive $1 token good for use at the souvenir stand. As a further reminder, Carson Park Baseball Stadium is a non-smoking facility. If you must smoke, we ask that you please leave the stadium. Again, there is no smoking in Carson Park Baseball Stadium. Thank you. Finally, all fans, especially those in the bleachers, are reminded that this is a baseball game. You follow all the men to the stands at a high rate of speed. We ask that you remain alert at all times. Today's starting lineups, beginning with the Everest Merchants. Leading off and playing center field, number 26, Wade Farmer. Batting second, the first baseman, number 24, Roman McGuire. Batting third, playing second base, number 17, Brandon Kranz. Heading forward, the third baseman, number 22, Josh Nielsen. Batting fifth, playing right field, number 20, Ryan Hulchek. Batting sixth, the catcher, number 29, Nick Barnes. Hitting seventh, the designated hitter, and number 13, Connor Langdon. Batting eighth and playing left field, number 12, Coleman Schilling. Batting ninth, the shortstop, number 9, Tanner Graham. And pitching first, number 99, Heinrich Holder. The Merchants are coached by Tom Fish. Now, the starting lineup for the Eau Claire Cavaliers. Leading off, playing shortstop, number 6, Keaton Erickson. Batting second, the third baseman, number 4, Xavier Bemister. Hitting third, playing center field, number 47, Gabe O'Brien. Batting cleanup, right fielder, number 20, Jack Redwine. Batting fifth and catching, number 19, Cole Diamond. Hitting sixth, left fielder, number 27, Cam Kapanke. Hitting seventh, the first baseman, number 12, Tyson Woodcock. Batting eighth, playing second base, number 3, Josh Garcia. The batting ninth, the designated hitter, number 4, Gio Castillo. And pitching for Oakland, number 8, Lucas Cosley. Cavaliers are coached by Ryan Demister, and he is assisted by Ryan Meyer and Ryan Pay. The officials for today's game on the bases, Mr. Paul Osmond and Mr. Teddy Gillis. And behind home plate, Sir Daniel Hoffman. Now would you please rise if you're able, remove your hats, and honor America for the playing of our national anthem.
And that's the playing of our national anthem as we're getting ready for some baseball from Carson Park, as we're going to have Wisconsin Baseball Association pool play. This is pool number 1 and game number 2 in pool 1 between the Eau Claire Cavaliers and the Everest Merchants. Cavaliers the home team for this one. Taking a look at the Cavaliers defensively, Cole Timon behind the plate. Xavier Bemnister is over at third. Caden Erickson at shortstop. Josh Garcia at second. Tyson Woodcock at first. This is just like last night's lineup. Campbell Kapanke. Cooper's down in Texas, suffering with the heat down there. But Campbell Kapanke out in left. Gabe O'Brien in center. Jack Redwine is in right field. Lucas Cosley on the mound. So, Ben, it'll be interesting to see how the Cavaliers bounce back after last night's performance where they were shut out in a 2-hitter by the River Falls Fighting Fish. A really good baseball team.
Yeah, we're going to see what the Cavs are made out of. My gut feeling tells me they're going to be just fine, and they're going to bounce back just fine based on what I've seen all season long following a loss.
I think you're right. I don't know that it's going to be enough to get them into play tomorrow because they need a lot of things to break their way. But, even if they don't get to play tomorrow, it'd be nice to end their season on a high note.
Something to build on for next year is kind of what I'm thinking if they could win this ball game. A victory at the state tournament over a good squad, that would have some good momentum for next season.
So, leading off the top of the first inning for the Everest Merchants is Wade Farmer. Farmer is the center fielder for the Merchants. And he steps in. It's going to be a hot and toasty one. We're going to have all the games from Carson Park here today. And the first pitch, foul back, right over the press box. Dan's ready to run out, chase that one down. Yeah, Dan did not bring the glove today. And the pitch swung on a miss, strike 2.
Good pitch location there.
Costley looking in for the sign. And the 0-2 pitch. Line shot out into center field for a base hit. So Farmer's on with a single. It's going to bring up Roman McGuire.
The only thing I'm a little nervous about is Costley hasn't pitched in a while, but I think he'll be okay.
Well, at least his arm will be fresh.
Yeah.
McGuire's the first baseman for the Merchants. Shows bunt. The ball gets past Timon, and down to second goes Farmer. That first pitch was inside for a ball. See if McGuire's still bunting to try to move Farmer over to third. And the pitch, he does show bunt, and that one got him, and that one stung him a little on the hand. McGuire in some pain as he heads down to first.
Costley was scheduled to pitch in the regional last weekend, but he had a little tenderness in his arm, so coach chose not to pitch him, which was probably a smart move.
2 runners on. Brandon Kranz at the plate, the second baseman for the Merchants. And he shows bunt, and that was inside, and it gets by Timon, and the 2 runners advance. Cavs and the Merchants met each other earlier this season over in Wapaka in the Battle on the Chain tournament. And the Merchants defeated the Cavs. That pitch is inside for a ball. 2-0 is the count now to Kranz.
Yeah, I believe that score was 3-2.
You're right. Good pitching effort by Jackson Vance in that one. Fly ball into shallow center field. O'Brien coming in, makes the catch. Runner tags, throw toward the plate, and they got him! A nice throw by Gabe O'Brien as Wade Farmer tried to score on a sacrifice fly, and he was thrown out by Gabe O'Brien in center field.
And and Everest will not use their coach's challenge, so the call will stand. You get 1 coach's challenge per game in this tournament.
Yeah, that would not have been a good one to try to use. He was dead to rights. Wasn't even close. So now we have a runner at second. That's McGuire. And at the plate is Josh Nielsen. Ground ball over to second, scooped up there by Garcia. Throw over to Woodcock at first for the third out. So, for the Everest Merchants, no runs on 1 hit. There were no errors, and 1 man left on base. We've played a half inning, and it's Everest nothing, and the Cavaliers coming to bat on the Northern Light Webcasting Network at NLWN-TV.
I love the pizza we get when we go to Gino's Pizza.
That's because Gino's has been voted best pizza in the Chippewa Valley 5 years in a row.
I think it's because Gino's uses the freshest ingredients, premium quality meats, cheeses, savory spices, and zesty toppings, and all served with attention to detail.
Now you're making me hungry. Let's head to Gino's Pizza.
Scott and the rest of the folks at Gino's Pizza would like to invite you to come out and try the area's best pizza. Call about Monday through Wednesday dine-in specials at 715-835-2000. That's Gino's Pizza at 5110 Fairview Drive, Eau Claire, right next to Chaos Water Park.
Jason, let's go see your room.
How is it? Is it good?
Back here at Carson Park, heading to the bottom of the first inning. Due up for the Cavaliers, Caden Erickson, Xavier Bemnister, and Gabe O'Brien. On the mound, Heinrich Walder. For the Merchants,
Should mention, Caden Erickson leads the Cavaliers with 131 at-bats coming into the tournament and 41 hits coming into the tournament.
Off the bottom of first for the Cavaliers. Number 6, the shortstop.
and he came into the tournament batting .313. Walder delivers, and the first pitch is a called strike at the letters.
I like this umpire already. He says strike, and you can clearly see his body language.
Yeah, he throws that arm out to the side, which makes it real easy to call. Swing and a miss, strike two. Of course, when the batter swings and misses like that, that's easy to call too.
I'll take either one.
No balls, 2 strikes to Caden Erickson. And the pitch. Fly ball out into center field. Moving over is Farmer, and he makes the catch at the warning track.
So 1 up, 1 down for the Cavs.
That's going to bring up Xavier Bemnister.
Second for the Cavaliers.
Bemnister comes into the weekend batting .337. He leads the ball club in batting average.
Walder looks in and delivers. Strike called on the outside corner. And that pitch is outside. Dan Hoffman behind the plate. And swing and foul back. One ball, 2 strikes to Bemnister. And the pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 3. That'll bring up Gabe O'Brien.
O'Brien comes into the tournament batting .283, and he made his 100th plate appearance last night.
O'Brien.
And the first pitch is a called strike. And that one missed inside for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two down. And the pitch just missed the outside corner. That pitch started way outside and then broke back in and almost caught the corner. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and that's low. 3 balls and a strike. Walder delivers. Long fly ball to right field. It's got a chance. It's deep, and it's gone. A round tripper for Gabe O'Brien, number 3 on the season. O'Brien stood there and watched it. That was a pretty shot, and he put it out of the ballpark.
Good morning, good night, Gabe O'Brien.
He pulled it down the right field line. It stayed fair. There's a couple people seated out in the fan deck area, and it cleared them. In fact, they didn't even flinch. They knew that was past them. And the Cavs are on top, 1-0.
And Gabe O'Brien says, Jack Redwine, I'm now tied with you for the home run lead on the team.
And there was an appeal made at third base saying that O'Brien missed the bag, but that's why they say touch them all. Gabe O'Brien, and he did. Here's the pitch to Redwine. Check swing, strike called.
Redwine comes into the tournament batting .280, and he has exactly 100 at-bats on the season.
The pitch was inside. It got away from Barnes behind the plate.
You might hear me refer to Jack as the Cuban Missile Crisis. That's his nickname.
And his father explained that to us over at Ellsworth. Line shot out into left center field for a base hit. Redwine rounds first, but he's going to hold there. That'll bring up Cole Timon.
Right, the catcher, number 19.
Cole Timon coming into the tournament batting .247.
So Redwine takes his lead at first. 2 down. And the pitch. It's outside for a ball. Throw over to first. Redwine back in.
Timon was one of 2 Cavalier players who actually got a base hit last night in the loss to River Falls.
He also sent the center fielder out to the warning track twice. Check swing, and he went. 1 ball, 1 strike. Yeah, twice out to the deepest part of center field on the warning track. But unfortunately, it stayed in the park and was caught for an out. Swing and a miss, strike 2.
He's getting him with that outside pitch. Both strikes were outside pitches.
If he leaves one over the plate, look out. Here's the pitch. That was left over the plate, but it was a little bit high, and Timon swung under it for strike 3. So we've completed 1 full inning, and the score, Cavaliers 1, courtesy of Gabe O'Brien's home run, and the Everest Merchants nothing. You're tuned to Cavalier Baseball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal. The sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us, on the roads that unite us. Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to be the fuel that keeps you firing on all cylinders.
Visit either of Eau Claire's 2 locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores on Highway 93 or North Claremont Avenue. The Northern Light Webcasting Network is excited to announce that the new home for Colfax Viking football is now NLWN-2. Our first game broadcast is coming up on Friday, August 18th. The Colfax Vikings will host the Whitehall Norse. Coverage begins at 6:40 p.m. with Viking Preview. That's live Colfax Viking football on Friday, August 18th, on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-2.
Hey, can you chop the pineapple? Chop the pineapple.
Nope, I'm high. How about I wash off the grapes?
Yes.
Okay.
You're already making good decisions when you're high.
I want tacos. Will you drive? I'm a little toasty.
Nope, I'm high. Let's order in.
Don't make an exception when it comes to driving. If you feel different, you drive different.
Leading off the top of the second inning for the Everest Merchants is Ryan Hubacek. He's the right fielder. And that pitch just missed inside for a ball.
It's going to be interesting this inning to see if Lucas Costley has control problems like he did the first inning.
And the pitch. High pop-up. It's in play. Costley coming over, and he makes the catch. And he and Xavier Bemnister needed to communicate a little better or listen to each other, one of the two. But he caught it. For 1 out, brings up Nick Barnes.
Next, the catcher, number 29, Nick Barnes.
Barnes is the catcher. And the pitch. Fouled back off the auxiliary scoreboard.
You know, every time I see a left-handed batter, I think back to when I was a kid, and one thing that's been lost in baseball is the drag bunt as a left-hander. Rarely nowadays do you ever see a lefty try to bunt for a base hit.
And considering that he's about 7 feet closer, chopper over to first. Woodcock gets it, flips it over to Costley covering the bag for out number 2.
I mean, when I was a kid, we had a couple kids on our team, and they would get on base every time because they just drag bunt. They were left-handed. They were so close to first base coming out of that left-hander's box.
Connor Langben, the designated hitter, is at the plate.
And we got another lefty, so there you go.
Well, the art of bunting has left a lot of baseball anyway. Another high pop-up. Bemnister moving over for this one, and he caught it in foul territory for out number 3. So 3 up and 3 down, a very quick inning for Costley, and we've played an inning and a half, and it's the Cavaliers 1, the Everest Merchants nothing. And you're tuned to WBA State Baseball Tournament action on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
When you have that craving for a home-cooked meal the way Mom used to make it, rest assured, you can still get that meal by going to Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax. Mom's is open daily, serving breakfast and lunch, and don't forget dinner on Friday nights with Mom's famous fish fry. The coffee is always hot, the breakfast is always delicious, and lunch will put a smile on your face and in your stomach. 225 Bremer Avenue, Colfax. Call 715-962-4617. That's Mom's Restaurant and Pub.
Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome. Prediabetes does. 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, but with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. And you can change the outcome. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test today. Go to doihaveprediabetes.org.
Back here at Carson Park, leading off the bottom of the second inning for the Cavaliers is our Geno's player of the game, Campbell Kapanke. That means that if Campbell, well, let's put it this way. Go out to Geno's tomorrow, mention Campbell's name, and you get a free soft drink. And if Campbell does manage to score today, well, then it turns into an appetizer for your table. And Ben, you were telling me that Campbell's dad was talking to you before the game, wanted to know who the Geno's player was, and what did you say to him?
I said, coincidentally, it's your kid, and either way, he should get you the appetizer. And he said, yes, I'll either make him pay for it, or we can get on base and he can score and we'll get it for free.
Ground ball to short, throw over to first. Well, he didn't get on base this time. Grounded short to first for 1 out.
So let's hope that's the motivation that he needs to get to score a run.
Nothing like add a little pressure to him.
Or maybe not tell him.
Tyson Woodcock, the first baseman, steps to the plate.
Tyson Woodcock comes into the tournament batting 171.
And the pitch. Ground ball over to short, scooped up, throw over to first, and it's in time. Tanner Graham having a lot of work over at short this inning. Josh Garcia.
Josh Garcia comes into the tournament batting 254.
He's playing second base today. Also one of those lefties. He's been known to lay down a bunt on occasion. And there's a strike called. And evidently the Merchants are aware of that because third baseman's playing in on the grass. Yeah, Dan just made an important point. Before this season, he was a switch hitter, but he's almost completely left-handed now. There's a pitch outside for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike with 2 down. And the pitch. Line shot out into right field for a base hit.
Boy, and with 2 outs, that's just what the Cavs needed, was to get a guy on base.
That brings up the Cavaliers drafted player, Gino Basile. Played all season with the Beef River Bullfrogs and was picked up by the Cavs for tournament play. Was instrumental in getting the Cavs to the state tournament. Over in Ellsworth, he scored the tying run.
Yeah, he also reached on that bunt. There was a couple guys that bunted to reach base in that game.
No balls, 1 strike. Throw over to first. Garcia back in. Or as they like to call Garcia sometimes, Cali. Originally from California. Here's the pitch. That's high for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike to Gio Basile. And the pitch, swing and a miss. 1-2. Swing and a miss for strike 3, and Garcia went diving into second for nothing at all, and the Cavs are down in the second. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. We've played 2, and it's the Cavaliers 1 and the Everest Merchants nothing on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
Menominee Eye and Optical help you see the world for the beautiful place it is. Doctors Nicholas and Marianne Comroe provide both comprehensive and emergency eye care for all, including pediatric and special needs patients. Whether it's examination for glasses to cataract and LASIK care, or diagnosis and management of macular degeneration, diabetic retinopathy, glaucoma, and so much more. In addition, Menominee Eye and Optical's experienced opticians will help guide you to the highest quality eye care for the best value. That's Menominee Eye and Optical, located at 520 Wilson Avenue in Menominee, where they specialize in quality, personalized care for you and your family.
Back here at Carson Park, WBA state tournament pool play. Cavaliers taking on the Everest Merchants. I'm seated right next to Ann Monroe on the computer. Ben Ryder is on my left, giving us all of his insightful comments, and Dan Petchow is helping us view the game through the camera.
I must give you a warning. Not all my comments are insightful.
Hey, if we don't say so, nobody's going to know the difference.
Let's go with that.
Baseball is a sport where uninsightful comments turn out to be insightful anyway. Leading off is Coleman Schilling. Fly ball out into right center field. Cut off there by Redwine. And they get it back into the infield, and Schilling is on with a base hit. Tanner Graham is coming to the plate, playing shortstop.
Number 9, the shortstop, Tanner Graham.
Bemnister playing up on the grass. And Graham shows bunt, and it stays foul. That kind of tightrope the first baseline. And as soon as it went foul, Cole Timon grabbed it and kept it that way. And it's strike 1. Schilling on first takes his lead. Bemnister in on the grass. And the pitch. Showed bunt, but he took it high for a ball. Schilling with his lead at first. Costley at the belt. 1-1 pitch. There's a bunt over on the third base side. Picked up and throw over to first in time. Bemnister fielded it just to the left side of the pitcher's mound and fired over to first. It did successfully move Schilling over to second.
Center fielder, Wade Farmer.
So with one down, runner on second, Wade Farmer back to the top of the order. Farmer singled to center field his first time up.
Rick, can you explain to me why the third baseman would be playing even with the grass?
They have a runner on second, possibly expecting a bunt to move him over.
Thank you.
This is a team that does like to bunt, so there's an outside pitch for a ball.
And then it would just be a foot race over to third to cover third on the bunt between the shortstop and the runner.
And it's a foul back into the screen, and he's not showing bunt at all. Now Dan wants to know how to crawl out the window and get that ball that came up here.
Well, if Dan doesn't, I'm gonna.
Dan, you're going to have to climb through your camera. Fly ball out into right center field. That one's hit pretty deep. It's way back, and it's off the fence. One run is going to come in. Schilling scoring, and checking in at second base is Wade Farmer.
And I would have preferred the bunt, but he didn't bunt. He swung away on that one, and the Cavs paid for that. It looks like Costley hung a pitch, and against these guys, you can't do that.
Dan's discovering he doesn't have arms quite long enough. Runner at second. And the first pitch is a ball. We're all tied at 1. And the pitch. Check swing, he went, strike. One ball and one strike to Roman McGuire. He was hit by a pitch his first time up.
And there's a gigantic gap in the outfield if he can place it there.
And time is called.
Usually that's where that Tyson Ford sign is, but today there's no signs.
O'Brien playing straight away in center, but shading a little bit to the right is Redwine over in right field. There's a strike called on the outside corner. And that's fine as long as Costley keeps it on the outside part of the plate.
That's what I was thinking, because if he doesn't and he hits it over that second baseman's head, it's going to be a double for sure, if not a triple.
Costley looks in. Peeks at second and now delivers. Swing and a miss for strike 3.
And that's a big out right there for the Cavs. Now the Cavs have 2 outs, and they just have the forced play at first base.
Brandon Cran steps to the plate. Flew out to center field his last time up. And that pitch missed the outside corner.
Boy, where I'm sitting, Rick, I can see that pitch perfect, and is that nice?
Costley looks in and delivers. And that missed inside.
So Costley's not taking any chances with this guy. Nothing right down the middle. Inside, outside, inside, outside.
Two balls, no strikes. To Brandon Crans. Costley's pitch. Strike called on the outside half of the plate.
And that's another great location there by Costley. It's on the outer edge of the plate, and it's not a place this guy's going to hit the ball.
Costley looking over at second. And the 2-1 pitch. Ground ball. Stopped at second. deep in the hole by Garcia, which prevented the runner at second from scoring. So it's a base hit for Crayons.
If you weren't going to say it, Rick, I was. That was an important defensive stop there. If he doesn't knock that ball down and keep it in the infield, that's another run for the Everest team.
So now runners on the corners with 2 down. Brings up Josh Nielsen, who grounded to second his first time up. Fly ball over to left field. Kapanke moving over, and he makes the catch in foul territory. So, 1 run on 3 hits. There were no errors, and 1 was left on, 2 were left on base. So we have played 2.5 innings, and we're all tied at 1 on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
If your estate isn't looking quite estate-like, let Midwest Environmental Consultants landscape your estate right up to snuff with installation of retaining walls, brick patios, foundation planting beds, and so much more. Then they'll keep it that way with their expert lawn care service. Call Midwest Environmental Consultants at 608-468-2067. Let Midwest Environmental Consultants help make your estate the showplace of the neighborhood.
Dan, you weren't here last night, but there's a definite...
We're back live at Carson Park.
I was just commenting off air to our cameraman, Dan Petro. There's a definite difference in the strike zone with today's umpire than last night's umpire, which is fine. The players just need to be aware of that. It seems like this umpire is more tight with his strike zone on the outer edge on right-handed batters than last night's umpire was. Go ahead.
Leading off for the Cavaliers in the bottom of the 3rd inning is Caden Erickson. Erickson flew out to center field his first time up. And the first pitch, I don't care where the strike zone is, that one's not getting called.
No, and
that was in the middle of the left-handed batter's box.
No, and back to my point, Coach Bemnister is well aware of the strike zone, and he always tells his players.
Erickson fouls that one back. Counts even at 1-1.
Coach Bemnister and I had a chat before the game, and he couldn't emphasize enough how the players need to learn the strike zone and execute the strike zone.
Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Heinrich Walder on the mound. We're all tied at 1. We're in the bottom of the 3rd inning. And the pitch, it's outside for a ball.
And boy, if you're the Eau Claire Cavaliers, are you hoping Caden Erickson comes back next year, because he leads the team in at-bats and he leads the team in hits and he's second on the team in batting average.
And the pitch, swing and a miss. And Erickson goes down on strikes.
And Caden Erickson is actually human, Rick.
Up steps Xavier Bemnister, struck out his first time up. That's the 4th strikeout by Walder today. Swing and a miss for a strike.
And one thing I like about Xavier Bemnister is he can play about every position there is. I've seen him play at least 4 different positions this year.
And the pitch, that one's outside. Actually, I've seen 5. I've seen him, he plays a lot of center field. That's where he plays most of the time. He's played short, he's played third, he's played some first base, and he's also pitched.
And we
ground ball over to pitcher Walder, flips it over to first for the out.
And we saw him as the catcher in the last league game against the Rivermen.
Oh, so let's make that 6. So 6 of the 9. And he could play either one of the other 2 outfield positions. So the only thing that leaves would be second base, and I have no doubt he could play that as well.
So, boy, are we lucky to have him on the Cavs.
Gabe O'Brien, who treated us all to a mighty blast in the first inning over the right field fence. Here's the pitch. It's outside for a ball.
Yeah, for those of you that were thinking the Cavs fans were sleeping, boy, when this guy stepped up to the plate and hit that home run, they woke up from their naps.
They might have just woke up. It's early in the morning still for some of them. And that pitch is outside. Two balls, no strikes. Walder delivers. It's outside for ball 3. He's not going to give O'Brien anything to hit. The 3-0 pitch. And that missed outside for ball 4. That's one of those that sometimes we would just call an unintentional intentional walk. And we're going to get a visit to the mound.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of respect for that guy.
Thomas Fish, serving as manager right now for the Everest Merchants. They got their discussion taken care of out at the mound. That was fairly quick. He heads back to the dugout and brings up Jack Redwine, who singled his first time up. Line shot single out into right field. That was into right center. And the pitch. It's outside for a ball. That's 5 straight pitches that have been outside the left-handed hitters by Walder. And that one's inside for a ball. As Euchre would say, ball 6. Runner goes. Strike called on the outside corner, but the throw goes out into center field.
Boy, he got a heck of a good jump on that one.
So Brian gets a stolen base. Count goes to 3. Well, the scoreboard shows 3-0, but I thought the umpire called it a strike. Let's see if he shows the sign here. Nope, it is 3-0.
I think that Everest pitcher got a little lazy there with his motion. That Cavaliers runner got an awesome jump on that pitch.
Walder delivers, and that's outside for ball 4. 2 consecutive walks given up to the Cavaliers by Walder. Brings up Cole Timon, who struck out his first time up.
Catcher, Cole Timon.
Cole Timon with 2 home runs on the season. And this is his 100th at-bat of the season.
Here's the pitch. That one got away from the catcher over to third. And safe there is O'Brien, and Redwine is right behind him over to second.
Had he not bobbled that ball, it would have been a close play at third because the ball came right back to him after it hit the dirt.
1 ball and no strikes. Runners at second and third now for the Cavaliers. Walder delivers outside. 2-0. That was ball 10, by the way.
Ball 10, and we see some people walking down to the Everest bullpen.
Fly ball out into center field. It's sending Farmer back to the warning track. Well, not quite there. And he makes the catch for the 3rd out of the inning. So the Cavaliers threaten but can't score with no runs on no hits. There were no errors. 2 were left on base. And we've completed 3 innings, and we're tied at 1 from Carson Park on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
Royal Credit Union's low rates and flexible terms on auto loans can help keep your payments low. Get a great rate on your next car or truck purchase, or refinance an existing vehicle with an auto loan from Royal Credit Union. Royal also offers loans for buying or refinancing boats, UTVs, and other vehicles. Royal Credit Union wants to help keep your payments low. Check rates and apply for a Royal Credit Union vehicle loan online at rcu.org/autorate. Subject to credit approval.
Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome. Prediabetes does. 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, but with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. And you can change the outcome. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test today. Go to doihaveprediabetes.org.
Jared Huckstraw is warming up down in the bullpen for the Everest Merchants.
And I'll tell you guys a secret that are listening to this game. Before the game, I went up to the Everest coach and asked him who may be warming up in the bullpen. And he said 2 numbers. And then when we take our binoculars, we just look down there and look for those numbers. So we're actually not that smart.
Well, you were smart enough to ask the question in the first place.
Yeah, it makes it easier. Half the work is done. You have the roster. You just have to look down there, see the number.
That's part of the 7 Ps. Proper prior planning prevents pathetically poor performance.
So when I get home tonight, my dad asks me, what'd you learn from Rick today? Now I can tell him.
Yeah, let's hear you repeat that.
No thanks. With a mouthful of crackers, Dan, no thanks.
Ryan Hubacek at the plate for the Merchants. Costley delivers the first pitch outside for a ball.
And you also wonder, how do we pronounce those names that are so tough?
We go and ask first.
We ask first, and he says it rhymes with tuba. Hubacek.
And the pitch. It's outside, ball 2.
Because as a commentator or a public address announcer, one of the cardinal errors you don't want to make is, and I did this in pregame, is mispronouncing a name. Because it's the state tournament, it might be his only at bat, and you say the wrong name on air.
It's even more basic than that, I think. Pitch is inside for a ball. 3-0 is the count. But a person's name is their sign, and they are entitled to have that because it's a statement about who they are. And high for ball 4. So Hubacek draws a walk.
Along those same lines, now I know why when an officer or whatever in the armed forces throws out the first pitch, why you want to get the rank and so forth. Same concept.
Exactly. Nick Barnes at the plate. Grounded out to first base his first time up. He's showing bunt. Costley steps off. Bemnister was almost cheek to cheek with him that time. He was coming in. Barnes squared away to bunt before Costley even started his motion. Did it again. Here's the pitch. He pulls it back and swings.
You know, that's something you see in fast pitch softball a lot, where the guy will fake the bunt, bring it back, and get a hit. Rarely do you see that in baseball, but I like it.
It's not tried very often, and it's kind of depending on how the third baseman plays it. Now he's not showing bunt. Now he does, and the pitch is on the outside corner for a strike. Hubacek bluffed going to second, but went back to first. No balls, 2 strikes. Now he won't be bunting. And the pitch, ground ball to first, foul. Woodcock fielded it on the foul side of the first baseline.
I'm puzzled as to why the Cavaliers' third baseman is playing even with the bag.
That might just be the way he plays third. There's a rule of thumb that you play even or inside the bag, and you take angles directly toward the pitcher's mound and field everything you can get your hands on. That pitch was a little bit low for a ball.
And rarely have I seen Mr. Bemnister plays third base, so it's hard for me to know where he normally plays.
Well, exactly. He doesn't do it all that often, although he did yesterday. Here's the pitch. Fly ball, right field foul, out of play.
And the kids still must be sleeping, otherwise there would have been about 10 of them chasing that foul ball.
Nick Barnes at the plate. 1-2 is the count. Runner at first. And time is called.
And Costley threw it anyway.
And that's what pitchers are trained to do. If you start your motion and time gets called, finish your delivery.
And that's a good safety thing.
Exactly. Here's the pitch. Fly ball out towards center field. O'Brien moving over. He makes the catch for out number 1.
Boy, if you're the Cavs, is it nice having O'Brien in center field? He covers a lot of ground out there.
Cavaliers have a very formidable outfield when they have Kapanke in left, Bemnister in center, and O'Brien in right. They're short a little bit today for personnel, and Bemnister had to be pulled into the infield. Costley looking in at the plate for Langben. And it's a foul. 1 out. Merchant's not done bunting.
No.
They're a fun team to watch, I'll tell you, Ben, because they play small ball.
And, you know, with runs being at a premium, as you always say, Rick, probably a good idea to bunt.
Costley looking over at first. And that pitch missed a little bit low because it caught the inside edge.
I mean, we're in the top of the 4th inning, and it's only 1-1, so it's not a high-scoring game at all.
Costley fires over to first. Hubacek back in.
And
Connor Langben at the plate. Costley delivers. Ground ball foul on the first base side.
I think that's something along with the drag bunt. In general, I think just the sacrifice bunt is a lost start in today's game, too.
That's what we were talking about a little bit earlier. I agree with you. And teams that like to play small ball, that's kind of why they're fun to watch. It becomes more of a chess game. And a foul ball back into the screen. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The count holds with 1 out. Connor Langben steps in. Hubacek takes his lead at first. Costley peeks over his shoulder and now delivers. That's high and away for ball 2. And the pitch. High pop up. It's playable, and Cole Timon makes the catch.
As a coach, I'd like to see the first baseman make that catch, but you know what? An out's an out.
I think that catch may have been a throwback to yesterday when Cole Timon was under a foul ball, ready to make the catch, and some fan called out ball, and he thought it was Xavier Bemnister coming in from third, so he backed off and let Xavier have it, and the ball fell harmlessly to the ground. Check swing, and they're saying he went.
Yeah, and as a fan, there's just things you don't do and things it's okay to do.
That was well stated right there. There's just some things you don't do. No balls and a strike. To Coleman Schilling. Strike called on the outside corner. No balls, 2 strikes. Schilling singled to right field and eventually scored. He scored the run that the Merchants have. Hubacek takes his lead. Ground ball over to Erickson. Flip to Garcia at second for the out. So Schilling grounds into a fielder's choice, 6-4. And there are no runs on, no hits, no errors, one man left on base. We've played 3.5, and it's still 1-1 at Carson Park on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
Colfax High School football action is coming your way on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-2. Coming up on Friday, August 25th, the Colfax Vikings will travel to Eleva-Strum High School to take on the Eleva-Strum Cardinals. Coverage begins at 6:40 p.m. with Viking Preview. That's live Colfax Viking football on Friday, August 25th, on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-2.
Leading off the bottom of the fourth inning for the Cavaliers are Geno's player of the game, Campbell Kapanke. Don't forget, mention Campbell's name out at Geno's tomorrow. Get yourself a free soft drink. Here's the pitch, and it's outside for a ball.
Campbell is second on the team in at-bats on the season, coming into the tournament with 112.
And of course, if Campbell scores, then you get a free appetizer for your table out at Geno's. And another pitch outside. That's two straight that have bounced away from the catcher.
Something tells me we're going to see him at least one more time this game at bat.
2 balls, no strikes to Campbell Kapanke. And the pitch fouled back into the net. 2-1's the count. Walder delivers. Strike called on the outside corner. Kapanke with his slightly open stance. Here's the pitch. Fly ball out into right field. Coming in is Hubacek, and he makes the catch.
Looked like a pitch on the outer half of the plate, and Kapanke went with it, took it to right field, but just not enough power.
Got under it a little bit too much. That's when he wants to hit on the line rather than up in the air. Tyson Woodcock is coming to the plate. He grounded to short his last time up. And that pitch is high for a ball. Coming up following this game, we will have the Hudson River Rats taking on the Spooner Cardinals. And a strike called on the inside corner.
Woodcock coming into the tournament with an on-base percentage of .370, and I'll take that any day of the week.
And the pitch is a line shot foul down the first base line. By the way, that Hudson Spooner game is scheduled for a 1 o'clock start, so we'll be on the air with it at 12:55 if everything goes according to plan. And the pitch. It's outside for ball 2.
And that's
2 balls and 2 strikes.
That's a game I'm really looking forward to because I haven't seen either team play this year.
Yeah, you did. You saw Hudson play last night. Swing and a miss for strike 3.
I take that back. I haven't seen Spooner play this year.
There you go. It's going to bring up Josh Garcia. He singled his last time up to right field.
Boy, Josh Garcia has speed. It'd be nice to get him on base if you're the Cavs.
And the pitch is on the outside corner for a called strike. And the pitch. That was outside for a ball. That just missed the outside corner.
Garcia comes into the tournament with 71 at-bats, and he's scored 21 runs.
Heinrich Walder on the mound for the Everest Merchants. And the pitch. Strike called. Merchants are dressed in their green shirts with gold lettering, green hats with a gold front piece, and green bills. And a ground ball. In other words, as Ann was just saying, those are Packer colors, and they're playing tonight against the New England Patriots.
Shout out to all you Packers fans.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Shout out to you.
Owner sitting here.
Shout out to all you owners.
Walder delivers. Line shot out toward center field. It's falling in, but not falling enough, and Farmer comes in and makes the catch. So for the Cavaliers, no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base, and we've completed 4. And we're still tied at 1 on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal. The sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us, on the roads that unite us. Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to be the fuel that keeps you firing on all cylinders.
Visit either of Eau Claire's 2 locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores on Highway 93 or North Claremont Avenue.
Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome. Prediabetes does. 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, but with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. And you can change the outcome. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test today. Go to doihaveprediabetes.org.
Back here at Carson Park, heading into the top of the 5th inning, still tied at 1. Lucas Costley still on the mound for the Cavaliers. Due up for the Everest Merchants are the 9 1-2 hitters, Tanner Graham, Wade Farmer, and Roman McGuire. Tanner Graham had a sacrifice bunt his first time up, moved Coleman Schilling over to second.
Credit to Lucas Costley. He's pitching a really good game, and I was nervous about him being rusty, but he's looking good.
Here's the pitch, and that just missed low.
I mean, anytime you're a pitcher and you miss your regularly started rotational scheduled start.
Here's the pitch. Chopper back to Costley at the mound, flips it over to first, and 1 away. That'll bring up Wade Farmer. Farmer's having a good day at the plate. He's 2 for 2. Single to center field and then double to center field with an RBI.
Yeah, Costley's going to have to be careful how he pitches this guy.
And the pitch. Strike called on the inside half of the plate. Costley looks in for the sign and delivers. High pop up in the infield. Erickson coming in. He's calling everyone else off, and he makes the catch.
And Costley did the exact right thing there. He just stepped off to the side and let the third baseman and the shortstop talk about who wanted that ball.
That'll bring up Roman McGuire. He's 0 for 1. Struck out his last time up. He's also been hit by the pitch. 2 down.
You know, I like what
and
Cole
the first
Timon,
pitch is a ball.
I like what Cole Timon's doing here. He's working the inside out, outside part of the plate.
Timon setting up on the inside half this time. And the pitch. And that just missed inside. I think it just missed low is what it missed. Cosley does a pretty good job of hitting his spots.
Yeah, and it's nice to have a veteran catcher back there, too.
And the pitch. I don't know where that one missed. It hit Timon right in the glove. Dan saying it was low.
Okay, that's what I was going to say.
And the pitch. Strike called on the inside corner. 3 balls and 1 strike now to Roman McGuire. McGuire with an open stance from the left side. And the pitch. Swing and foul back, and the count goes full.
You know, and this guy, this Roman McGuire, he stands up in the batter's box.
Might be a good time to come with a fastball, put him away. Cosley looks in and he delivers. Ground ball, foul down the first baseline.
McGuire is doing a great job there, making him throw a lot of pitches and just fouling him off. He's hanging tough.
Cosley looks in and the payoff pitch. Strike 3 call. McGuire thought he had ball 4, but nope, not this time. And he goes down looking. So, for the Merchants, no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. We've played 4.5, and it's still Merchants 1, Cavaliers 1 on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax has just what you need when you have that craving for a home-cooked meal the way Mom used to make it. Mom's is open from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. daily and until 9 on Fridays with a complete breakfast menu. Lunch includes sandwiches, salads, wraps, and burgers, along with Mom's comfort food favorites, and don't forget dinner on Fridays with Mom's famous fish fry. The coffee always hot, the breakfast always delicious, and lunch puts a smile on your face. 225 Bremer Avenue, Colfax. Call 715-962-4617. That's Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax.
So we're heading to the bottom of the 5th inning. We're still all tied at 1 in the WBA State Tournament pool play from Eau Claire. This is Pool 1 of 2 that are here at Carson Park. Pools 3 and 4 are down in Osseo. Cavaliers taking on the Everest Merchants. Cavs are 0-1 in tournament play. And the Merchants, well, it's their first game in tournament play. They will play again this afternoon at 4 o'clock. And as Ann just said, we'll be here. Yes, we will. We'll bring that one to you. We got a whole nother game in between. Leading off for the Cavaliers in the bottom of the 5th, designated hitter Gio Bazile. And the pitch. Swing and a miss for a strike.
And as you mentioned earlier on the broadcast, this Gio Bazile is one of the main reasons the Cavaliers are here at the state tournament. With what he did in Ellsworth last weekend, boy, if you're the Cavs, you're glad you picked him up. He scored a very important run last weekend.
And the pitch. Strike called on the outside corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Gio Bazile. He came into the tournament with a .500 batting average, but that's pretty deceptive because he only has 2 at-bats. And that pitch is outside for a ball. He struck out his first time up, so that gave him 3 at-bats, so his batting average dropped to .333. And high and inside for a ball.
You know, I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, The Natural, but last weekend when the Cavs were playing in that game, to get here, if they would have won, they were down the whole game, and it reminded me of that movie, The Natural.
Strikeout, Bazile.
Where that team was down the whole time, and then it got towards the later innings, and they figured out how to win that game. Same exact thing happened to the Cavs last week. They fell down 3-0 in that regional final. And boy, they just chipped away and they won.
And here's a big reason that they chipped away. Caden Erickson hit a 2-run blast in the bottom of the 8th inning of that game against the Whittlesea Reds. The first pitch is high and inside.
Yeah, that got the Cavs within 3-2.
Walder delivers. Pop-up out into right field. Heading out is Kranz. Coming in and making the catch is Hubacek. So Erickson flies out to right field.
Yeah, after that game, I went up to Caden Erickson and I asked him if I could touch that bat that hit that home run. He said, "You could, but I don't have it on me." It wasn't even his bat.
Xavier Bemnister steps to the plate. He's 0 for 2 today. Struck out and grounded back to the pitcher. 2 down. And there's a line shot out into left field for a base hit.
And with 2 outs, Xavier Bemnister reaches on a sharply hit ball to left field.
Brings up Gabe O'Brien. O'Brien has 1 official at bat, and he made the most of it so far in this game with a home run to right field, giving the Cavaliers their only run of the game. And here's another shot, foul down the right field line. That was caught by the pitcher warming up down in the bullpen. Again, down there warming up is Jared Hoekstra.
Garcia does have 18 hits on the season.
Here's the pitch. Runner goes. Throw down to second. And nice stop by the shortstop because that throw was way off target. And the shortstop slid in on his wallet, but he reached back and stopped it, keeping it from going out into center field. Safely at second is Xavier Bemnister.
That may have been a close play at second, depending on the throw.
1 ball, 1 strike to Gabe O'Brien. Here's the pitch. That was low for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. And the pitch. That's a strike called at the letters. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. Bemnister on second. He takes his lead. Walder looks in. Now he looks over at second. And he delivers. Outside, ball 3. The count is full to Gabe O'Brien. On deck is Jack Redwine. Bemnister with his lead. Walder delivers. And ball 4. Second walk given up to Gabe O'Brien.
And if you're Everest, you got to be real careful here.
2 runners on with 2 down. And Jack Redwine steps to the plate. He's 1 for 1. Singled to center field and drew a walk his last appearance. Here's the pitch. Strike called on the outside edge. Redwine tends to look at one before he swings. And the pitch. That one got away from the catcher, but nobody advances. Redwine also over in Ellsworth last weekend in the regionals hit a towering home run. And the pitch. And that one missed. I think they said it was high. 2 balls and a strike. And the pitch. That's high and away. Ball 3. 3 balls, 1 strike. And the 3-1 pitch. Strike called. Count is now full, so we're going to have traveling time. Bemnister on second. O'Brien on first. Redwine at the plate. Walder at the belt. Runners take off. Here's the pitch. Line shot out into left field. It's going to fall in for a base hit. Bemnister rounds third. He's going to come in and score. So it's an RBI single for Jack Redwine.
And boy, Redwine, he puts his arms in the air as if to say, patience pays off. He battled
O'Brien
and battled.
ends up at second, and Redwine is at first.
And that'll bring a mound visit from the coach.
As he heads out there, and we're going to have a pitching change, and we'll get that all figured out right after this timeout on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse, walk a mile in my shoes.
My character, Shazam, knows all about growing up in a family full of teenage superheroes. They're bold. Where's everyone going?
To fight crime?
Okay. Adventurous. Shazam! There's never a dull moment. And no matter what happens, they'll always have your back. All they need is a place to grow and be themselves. And the best part is, you don't have to be a superhero to adopt a teen. Learn more about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org. You can't imagine the reward.
My name is Teresa Barber. I was in the United States Navy, and I served overseas in the Middle East and Africa. Early on in my career, I had a commander that taught our suicide prevention training on a Friday afternoon, and the very next day, he took his own life. 90% of suicide attempts involving a gun are fatal. You don't know how much somebody can hide what's going on inside their head. Store your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
And the new pitcher for the Everest Merchants is Jared Hoekstra. Heinrich Walder went 4 2/3 innings, gave up 2 runs, both of which were earned runs on 5 hits. He struck out 6 and walked 3. And both runners on base, O'Brien and Redwine, are his responsibility. Cole Timon stepping to the plate. Timon's 0 for 2. Cavaliers on top, 2-1. And the pitch. Strike called on the inside corner.
You know, it's like we were talking about earlier. As a pitcher, it's hard to hold a lineup down the second or third time they see you.
That was a big curveball over the inside part of the plate by Hoekstra. And the pitch. Another curveball, and that's also a strike. He's getting that inside corner. Timon steps back in. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 down, 2 on. 1 run in this inning for the Cavs. And he fouls that one away at the plate. Count holds at 0-2. He kind of bounced off the catcher, so our umpire, Dan Hoffman, goes out and delivers the ball in person out to Hoekstra, giving Barnes a minute to gather himself. Patted him on the shoulder as he came walking back. And Cole Timon steps back in. 0-2 is the count. And the pitch. Fly ball out into center field. It's going to fall in for a base hit. O'Brien rounds third. He's coming in to score. Throw over to third. And they got the runner. And the run scores here. Yes, he's saying that O'Brien's run does count. And Timon singles to center field. He gets credit for an RBI, and Redwine is put out 8-5 on the putout. So, after 5 innings, the score, Cavaliers 3 and the Everest Merchants 1 on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
In November of 2018, our daughter Jana passed away. The outpouring of support was unbelievable. Support that we received inspired us to start a foundation called the Jana Kelly Memorial Foundation. And through that foundation,
we've given back in a lot of different ways, through projects, through different other charities that we've supported. We like to help Humane Association, and the Ronald McDonald House is something that's very near and dear to us. We've also recently, this last year, we actually built a tiny house. It's really exciting to be able to give back in different ways.
to learn more or to help financially, would find us on Facebook or www.janakelly.com.
Back here at Carson Park, the umpires are still discussing that last run scored by the Cavaliers.
And to be honest with you,
and the Everest Merchants were saying that Gabe O'Brien did not score before the out was made at third. And they may have a point there because O'Brien slowed down. And it was very close whether he touched home before the out was made at third. But the umpire said he scored, and we'll count it. 3-1, Cavaliers on top. We're in the top of the 6th inning. And the first pitch is a strike called on the outside corner.
So would you say that
Brandon Kranz is the hitter?
So would you say Everest still has their coach's challenge?
They did not challenge it.
Thank you.
And a ground ball fielded by Woodcock at first. Throw over to Costley, who overran the bag and dove and put his glove down on the bag for the out. Pretty fancy play by Lucas Costley, unintentionally fancy. He overran the bag and had to reach back, and laying prone on the ground, slapped his glove down before Kranz got there.
Yeah, when I watch the broadcast tonight, I'm going to look at that play.
Josh Nielsen stepping to the plate. He's 0 for 2. Grounded to second. Pops that one back towards us and right over the top of the press box. He grounded to second and then fouled out to left field. Kapanke went over and caught it in the Cavalier bullpen area. Costley delivers. Fly ball, shallow center field. Erickson back. Makes the catch.
So 2 quick outs for the Cavs.
Ryan Hubacek steps to the plate. He's 0 for 1. He popped out to Costley and then drew a walk.
You know, looking at this Hubacek, boy, he's got some good size. If he got into one, could be a home run.
And the first pitch is inside for a ball. One ball, no strikes. Fly ball out into center field. Heading back is O'Brien. It's over his head. Hubacek rounds first. He's heading to second. O'Brien picks it up out by the warning track, and Hubacek checks in at second base.
And O'Brien turned the wrong way when he went to try to catch that ball.
And he knew it as soon as he made the turn as well.
I mean, he had a 50-50 chance.
Especially when it's coming right at you. And you're right, Hubacek got all of that one.
Yeah, he looked like he extended his arms pretty good there.
Nick Barnes at the plate 0 for 2. Hits a hard shot, ground ball just past Garcia out into right field. Here comes Hubacek in to score. And Barnes is at first with an RBI single.
And just like that, it's kind of a new ball game. It's only 3-2 now.
So that's going to bring up Connor Langben, who fouled to the catcher his last time up.
So the hits are even at 6 apiece. The only difference is the Cavs have 3 and Everest has 2 runs.
And a foul ball back into the screen.
And neither team, according to the scoreboard, has committed an error.
I don't have one in my scorebook yet. And the pitch. Strike called on the inside edge.
So, I mean, if you want...
That caught the front edge of the plate, and then it drifted inside, but as long as it catches the front edge, you're okay. Costley does that with a lot of his pitches. That pitch is outside. It got away from Timon, and down to second goes Barnes.
You know, I think sometimes you read my mind. I was just going to ask you to make that point, and I didn't even have to ask you. You just made your point. It's where the ball crosses the plate.
If it catches any part of the plate as it crosses, that works. Here's the pitch. Ground ball over to third. Picked up by Bemnister. Throws it to first, and they got him. A bang-bang play at first, but Xavier Bemnister stuck with it. So for the Everest Merchants, they do pick up 1 run on 2 hits. There were no errors and 1 left on base. So we've played 5.5, and it's the Cavaliers 3, the Everest Merchants 2 on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
Ready for a better way to bank? Switch to Royal Credit Union. Royal Credit Union is a financial co-op, not a corporation, so we return earnings to our members. That means you get low or no fees for account services and better rates on deposits and loans. You'll also have all the digital tools you need at your fingertips, so managing your account is easy. Royal is ready to help you discover the credit union difference. Switch to Royal Credit Union today at rcu.org/difference. Insured by NCUA.
Jason, let's go see your room.
How was it? Is it good?
The Northern Light Webcasting Network is excited to announce that the new home for Colfax Viking football is now NLWN-TV. Our first game broadcast is coming up on Friday, August 18th. The Colfax Vikings will host the Whitehall Norse. Coverage begins at 6:40 p.m. with Viking Preview. That's live Colfax Viking football on Friday, August 18th, on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
Back here at Carson Park, we head into the bottom of the 6th inning. A little bit of activity going on down in the Merchants bullpen. That's Andrew Baranowski getting loose down there. And leading things off for the Cavaliers in the bottom of the 6th, our Geno's player of the game, Campbell Kapanke. Now, every time he's come up, he's been leading off, which is a prime spot for a player of the game because it gives us more chances to get him around and score him. But he's got to get on base. And the first pitch is inside for a ball. Remember, mention Campbell's name out at Geno's tomorrow and get yourself a free soft drink. And if he scores, well, then it turns into an appetizer for your table.
And no pressure, Campbell, but you might be the last Geno's player of the game for the year for the Cavs.
And your dad's going to make you buy the appetizer if you don't get it by scoring. So we don't want to put any pressure on you. Line shot over into the dugout area of the Merchants.
No, and for additional pressure, not that we want to do that to you, I'm sure your brother Cooper is listening to our radio broadcasts.
Or watching us on YouTube.
Or what? Yep.
Ground ball out into right field for a base hit, and Campbell is on. So let's bring that Geno's player of the game around. And goes, it smells like appetizers, maybe. Just got to get him around.
Now, would you predict this next batter would bunt or swing away?
Well, this is a good time for a bunt. Tyson Woodcock at the plate. He's 0 for 2, grounded to short and struck out.
I mean, the third baseman thinks he's going to bunt.
Kapanke takes a good lead at first. No sign of bunting, and he takes a called strike right down the middle of Water Street on that one.
And right after that, the Everest third baseman took 2 steps backwards. Make it 3. Make it 4.
He's back at playing regular depth now. Swing and a miss for strike 2. Josh Garcia on deck.
And we know what Josh Garcia can do.
And the pitch. Ground ball foul down the third baseline.
And Coach Bemnister shows off the arm there. Not too bad.
And he goes through the signs. Kapanke takes his lead at first. Kapanke goes, throw down to second, and Kapanke is in safely.
So your Geno's player of the game is 90 feet closer.
180 feet away from getting us appetizers. Ann's thinking breadsticks, maybe. Oh, red sauce. Well, something to dip those breadsticks in. And the pitch to Garcia is outside for a ball. By the way, that last pitch, Woodcock went down swinging. Here's the pitch. It's outside for ball 2.
And my hunch is they're going to unintentionally, intentionally walk him if they're not careful.
I think that would be a mistake. He's 1 for 2 today. He's singled to right field. Swing and a miss. Strike 2 was fouled. He singled to right field and then flew out to center field.
Yeah, it's kind of that old saying, as a pitcher, you want to give your defense a chance to work. If you throw all balls, you can't do that.
Yes, there's no defense against a walk. And the pitch. Fly ball out towards left field, and in to make the catch is Schilling for the second out.
And they had him played perfect. The left fielder just took a few steps in, and he caught it.
That brings up Gio Basile. He's 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. So his batting average is now down to .250 on the season for the Cavaliers. Pitch is outside for a ball.
Nice block there by the catcher.
The drafted players have to wear their home team uniform. There's a strike called. In other words, since Gio played for the Beef River Bullfrogs, that's the uniform he's wearing in today's game. very similar to the Everest Merchants uniform. And the pitch. Inside for a ball. 2 balls and 1 strike with 2 down. Kapanke on second. And the pitch by Hoekstra. It's high for a ball. 3-1 is the count. Hitter's pitch now coming for Bazile. Caden Erickson on deck for the Cavaliers. And the pitch. Ball 4. Bazile draws a walk. Takes us back to the top of the order. Caden Erickson, he's due. He's 0 for 3.
Shortstop, Caden Erickson.
Let's use this for a weight. Runners at first and second. Hoekstra's pitch, it gets past the catcher, and that puts Campbell Kapanke over on third, our Geno's player of the game, 90 feet away from appetizer time.
I was thinking it. You said it. Great minds think alike.
2 down. Caden Erickson at the plate. 1 ball, no strikes. Bazile on second. Hoekstra looking in. And he delivers. Line shot out into right field. It's going to fall in. And there's your appetizer, folks. 2 runs are going to score as Erickson delivers a 2 RBI single.
I think he heard you up here, and I think he delivered for you.
I'm hoping so. I know his mom will be happy because she likes getting those appetizers.
And the card's in the mail. The thank you card.
So our Geno's player of the game scores. So make sure when you go out to Geno's tomorrow, you mention Campbell Kapanke's name and you'll get a free appetizer for your table. Gio Bazile also came in to score. Erickson heading down to second, and they got him as he slid right into the tag. So that'll take care of the Cavaliers in the bottom of the 6th inning, but they pick up 2 runs on 2 hits. There were no errors and 1 man left on base. We've played 6, and it's the Cavaliers 5, the Everest Merchants 2 on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
To get your lawn or garden to perform at attracting what you want, you first need to know what your soil is working with. That's where Midwest Environmental Consultants can help. Their soil testing service can give you a complete rundown on your soil's nutrition and health. They test for nitrogen levels, phosphorus, potash, micronutrients, minerals, pH, and organic matter. Let Midwest Environmental Consultants put you in control of your soil's health. Call Midwest Environmental Consultants at 608-468-2067. That's Midwest Environmental Consultants, serving Western Wisconsin.
Hey, can you chop the pineapple?
Chop the pineapple.
Nope. I'm high. How about I wash off the grapes?
Yes.
Okay.
You're already making good decisions when you're high.
I want tacos. Will you drive? I'm a little toasty.
Nope. I'm high. Let's order in.
Don't make an exception when it comes to driving. If you feel different, you drive different.
Colfax High School football action is coming your way on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. Coming up on Friday, August 25th, the Colfax Vikings will travel to
Back here at Carson Park and heading into the top of the 7th inning. At the plate is Coleman Schilling. Schilling singled and scored and also grounded into a fielder's choice. Lucas Costley still on the mound for the Cavs. And there's a strike called on the outside corner.
In between innings, I was just getting educated on why a team would have two pitchers in the bullpen.
That's a righty-lefty situation. And it's a strike called.
So you warm up a righty, warm up a lefty, and then depending on
what the situation is, you'll make your decision as far as which one comes in. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Costley got Schilling swinging. It's going to bring up Tanner Graham. That's strikeout number 3 for Lucas Costley. Schilling had a sacrifice bunt his first time up and then grounded back to the pitcher. So he's 0 for 1. Swing and a miss for strike 1. And the pitch. Strike called right down the middle of Water Street. I think there's new stripes on Water Street from that one. And the pitch. Ooh, just missed low. It was on the outside half of the plate, just a little bit low. And the pitch. Ground ball over to second. Garcia with it, fires to first, and they got him. And it was really close. Graham tried to dive into the bag, but couldn't get there early enough.
And I think if he'd have ran through that bag instead of sliding, I think it would have been a closer play. They always teach you at first base, run through the bag. Because when you slide, you slow down.
However, when you slide, you can get those arms out in front of you, and sometimes you can beat a throw that way. That's one you'll see people debate that forever. Up at the plate is Wade Farmer, and Farmer is 2 for 3. Single to center and double to center.
You know, you're right on that point. I had 2 coaches in baseball, and one would like us to dive at first, and one always told us to run through the bag. So which is it?
Dan goes, just be fast.
That'll solve your problems.
Fast solves a lot of problems. And there's a strike called at the letters on the inside half of the plate. 2 balls, 1 strike to Wade Farmer with 2 down. We're in the top of the 7th inning. And the pitch. Foul back into the net. Counts even at 2-2.
And I'll tell you what, the Cavaliers have full confidence in Costley because we have seen absolutely no bullpen action whatsoever down there.
Pretty thin bench for the Cavs today as well. Costley at the belt and delivers. Fly ball out into center field. O'Brien gets back and makes the catch. So, the Merchants go down in order. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. It's time for the 7th inning stretch, and we have the Cavaliers on top of the Everest Merchants, 5-2 on the Northern Light Webcast Network and NLWN-TV.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Regardless of where you are on your path to retirement, you can still take charge of your financial future today. Visit aceyourretirement.org and answer a few questions from Alvo, your friendly digital retirement coach. for free tips, resources, and advice customized for your situation to help you feel confident and prepared for retirement. Retirement looks different for everyone. Make sure you're prepared for your financial future at aceyourretirement.org.
Back here going into the bottom of the 7th inning, new pitcher for the Everest Merchants, Matt Witter, is on the mound. For Jared Hoekstra, he went 1 1/3 innings, gave up 2 runs, both of which were earned on 3 hits. And at the plate for the Cavaliers is Xavier Bemnister. And that pitch is low for a ball. Here's the pitch. Pop up, foul. Moving over is McGuire, and he makes the catch.
So far, we've seen nothing but fastballs from this Everest pitcher.
Well, he's only thrown maybe 3 pitches.
In warm-ups, I did see him throw a couple curveballs and look like a changeup.
At the plate for the Cavaliers, Gabe O'Brien. And there's a strike called at the letters. O'Brien is 1 for 1, and that one was a home run. And he pops that one out, and this could be trouble, but moving over, catching it in foul territory is Schilling. For the second out of the inning, bringing up Jack Redwine. He's 2 for 2, singled twice. The second one was an RBI single.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, a shout out to our viewers down in the Mondovi area. Always good to have you on board. There's a strike called.
Redwine's seeing the ball very well today.
And the pitch. Ground ball right back up the middle, fielded by the shortstop over to first in time. So Graham over to McGuire for the third out. And the Cavs go down quietly. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. So we've completed 7 innings, and it's the Cavaliers 5 and the Merchants 2 on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
Colfax High School football action is coming your way on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-2. Coming up on Friday, August 25th, the Colfax Vikings will travel to Oliva-Strum High School to take on the Oliva-Strum Cardinals. Coverage begins at 6:40 p.m. with Viking Preview. That's live Colfax Viking football on Friday, August 25th, on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-2.
My name is Teresa Barber. I was in the United States Navy, and I served overseas in the Middle East and Africa. Early on in my career, I had a commander that taught our suicide prevention training on a Friday afternoon, and the very next day he took his own life. 90% of suicide attempts involving a gun are fatal. You don't know how much somebody can hide what's going on inside their head. Store your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Heading into the top of the 8th inning, don't forget we've got a whole nother ball game. In fact, we got 3 more ball games for you today. This one right after this game, scheduled for a 1 o'clock start, is the Hudson River Rats taking on the Spooner Cardinals. And we'll be on the air with that one at approximately 12:55. When this game is over, we'll have an abbreviated Talkin' Baseball, and then we'll leave the air for a few minutes to get things set up for that second game. Leading off the top of the 8th inning for the Everest Merchants is Roman McGuire. And the first pitch is a called strike. McGuire is 0 for 2. He struck out a couple times. He was also hit by the pitch in his first at bat. That one was high for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. And the 1-1 pitch. Fly ball out into center field. O'Brien drifting over. He's under it and makes the catch.
He got under that one a little too much.
1 down in the 8th inning. Brandon Kranz steps to the plate. Kranz is 1 for 3. Singled on a ball that Garcia knocked down well behind the bag, and it prevented a run from coming in to score. At least at the time, it prevented a run from coming in to score. In fact, it did keep the run from scoring completely. And that just missed inside. 2 balls, no strikes. Because when Garcia knocked that ball down, that left runners on the corners, and then the next batter up fouled out. There's a long shot foul, just a very loud strike.
That ball brought to you by Good Coffee House.
A young mom out there with a child in a stroller had to beware of that one coming their way. That pitch was a little bit high. 3 balls and a strike.
3 balls and a long strike.
Yeah, nothing but a noisy strike. To Brandon Kranz. And ball 4. So a runner on first and Josh Nielsen coming to the plate. He's 0 for 3. Grounded to second. Fouled out to left field and popped out to the shortstop.
Being down by 3 runs, I would not suspect a bunt here.
Here's the pitch. Line shot foul down the left field line into the Cavalier bullpen area.
And Fisher is showing off his speed. He's absolutely sprinting for that ball.
And then Kapanke overthrew him to get it back to him, and now he's got to run back to get it. He's getting his wind sprints in for the day.
If he doesn't come in to pitch, I think we should use him as a pinch runner.
Foul ball back toward the press box and just over. No balls, 2 strikes. Josh Nielsen, 1 out, runner on first. We're in the top of the 8th inning. And the pitch. That's high for a ball. 1-2. That was a good go ahead and chase this pitch that time. Just out of the zone. Costley delivers. Line shot foul. Almost nailed a couple players. In fact, it did. One of the River Rats, and it kind of got him in the cheek on the ricochet off the bleachers.
But the good sport that he is, he gives the ball to a little kid.
There's a ground ball and picked up by Erickson, and they try to make the play at second, and they can't. Erickson bobbled the play at first. He kept it in front of him to allow anything worse from happening, but that's the first error given up in the game. So now there's runners at first and second. It brings a tying run to the plate in Ryan Hubacek. And the pitch. Check swing, foul, out of play.
Cavs got to be careful here. One swing of the bat and this thing could be tied up.
Hubacek doubled to center field his last time up. And there's a ground ball foul. It's down the third base line. No balls, 2 strikes with 1 out.
And there's a little delay here as we're trying to get some new baseballs into the game. And we should be good for a while. It looks like they brought in 4 new balls.
So no balls and 2 strikes with an out. 2 runners on. Ryan Hubacek at the plate. Cavs on top, 5-2. We're in the top of the 8th inning. Costley looking in and delivers. That was a little bit high. 1-2 is the count. One ball, 2 strikes in the pitch. Fly ball, shallow left field. Erickson on his horse, and that one's going to fall in between all 3. And everybody's safe, advancing 1 base. So Hubacek singles to left field. And that moves Kranz over to third, Nielsen to second. Hubacek's on first. Tying run is on first. And Ryan Bemnister coming in to have a chat at the mound. And I think we're going to have a pitching change here. I think they're adjusting all kinds of fielding, so we're going to have to watch for that. This is musical positions. If I'm reading Bemnister's hand gestures here.
I think he's trying to buy some time because I just saw the pitcher run down to the bullpen.
Designated hitter Gio Bazile is down there warming up.
So Bemnister doing a great job of buying his pitcher some time to warm up down there in that bullpen.
Costley would like nothing more than to be able to finish this one. Get his 5th complete game of the season. Here's the pitch. And that was low for a ball. And the pitch. That was high for a ball. Bases are loaded. 1 out. And the pitch. Swing and a miss for a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike. This is Nick Barnes, the catcher, at the plate. He had an RBI single his last time up. And the pitch. That's down low, ball 3.
No place to put him.
Costley at the belt. He delivers. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Count goes full now to Nick Barnes. Costley delivers. Pop up. And it's out of play. Count remains 3-2.
Well, you know, I had to laugh there. I'm looking down in the Cavalier bullpen, and if there's any pop-up hitting down there, there's a whole bunch of trash in the way. We got 5-gallon buckets down there. We got baseballs down there. We got a pipe down there.
Costley delivers, and it's inside. That's an RBI walk.
And Jake Fisher just looked down here, but Coach Bemnister remains silent in the dugout.
That'll bring up Connor Langman The RBI walk scored Brandon Kranz, and it's now 5-3, and there's a foul ball back off the press box to our left.
If I would have had a 6-foot fishing net, I would have had that ball.
I think it might have had to be longer than that.
Boy, and I've never seen this before. So Fisher was throwing down there to Basil. Now Fisher's in the crouch position. Basil's throwing to him.
And the pitch. It's part of the reason they picked up Gio Basil is he is also a pitcher.
And you can never have enough arms. We all know that.
He shut down the Cavaliers. There's a foul ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Connor Langman.
Yeah, I guess if you're the Cavs, you're thinking if you can't beat him, join him. So they can't beat Basil, so they pick him up.
And the pitch. That's inside. Counts even at 2-2. And the 2-2 pitch. Inside, ball 3. We have a full count again. Lucas Costley struggling here in the 8th. Showing some fatigue. And a ground ball over to second. Flip to short. And over to first, and they don't get it, and the run comes in to score. We are going to be tied. 2 runs come in. So, or is it just 1 run that came in? I'm double checking here. We have a fielder's choice by Langman. 4-6 on the fielder's choice. And then, so that means that Nielsen, or check that, Barnes was out at second. So Nielsen came in to score, as did Hubacek. And we are tied. Ooh, a very close play at first. Throw down there, and they almost got the tag on to Langman. Coleman Schilling is at the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. We're all tied in the 8th. Pitch is outside. Two down. And the pitch. Pop up. Moving over is Gabe O'Brien, and he makes the out. So, the Merchants are down in the 8th, but not before they tie it up with 3 runs on 1 hit. There was 1 Cavalier error and 1 left on base. We've played 7.5, and we're all tied at 5 on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
When you look at the number of disasters in the U.S., chances are every area will deal with some kind of emergency in the next decade. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
So we head to the bottom of the 8th inning, and the score is tied. Cole Timon to lead things off for the Cavaliers. We're all tied at 5. My guess is we've probably seen the last of Lucas Costley for the day. On the mound is Matt Witter for the Merchants. Timon's first pitch is grounded down the third baseline. Nice attempt at stopping it by the third base umpire. Doing a little soccer action there, I think. No balls and 1 strike. Here's the pitch. Strike called. And the pitch. Foul back.
That's all ball brought to you by Lincoln County Golf.
And those kids must be still sleeping because they're not out here chasing the foul balls.
And a swing and a miss for strike 3. 1 down in the bottom of the 8th inning. Brings up our Geno's player of the game, Campbell Kapanke. Kapanke did score a run today, so when you go out to Geno's tomorrow, you mention Campbell's name, get yourself a free appetizer for your table. He's 1 for 3, and he fouls that one out of play on the right side.
And at yesterday's game, there would have been about 5 kids chasing that foul ball just now. Today, nobody. But we have 1. I'm staying corrected.
And the pitch is outside. A lot of baseball here today. A lot of chances for kids to chase foul balls. If you're looking for something to do with the kids today. And it's fouled away on the right side.
Yeah, and if you're a kid and you get one of those balls, you get a token. You can collect tokens and spend it at the Cavaliers souvenir stand.
Hang on to them till next year, too. They'll still be good. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And the pitch. It's high and away for a ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And a ground ball over to short. Scooping it up is Graham. Throw to first, and they got him. 2 down. Brings up Tyson Woodcock. Woodcock is 0 for 3. Grounded to short and struck out twice.
Woodcock has 6 hits on the year, and the Cavs hoping he gets hit number 7 here.
Cavaliers have done a lot of their damage in this game with 2 outs. And there's a pitch outside. Curveball just didn't quite catch the corner. And there's a strike called on the outside corner. Matt Witter. Not throwing anything overly hard, but has a lot of movement on his ball. That's his fastball.
And that foul ball tried to stay on our roof, and at the last minute it slid down.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 down. Fly ball out into left field. Drifting back is Schilling. He leaps and makes the catch on the warning track. He did drop the ball, but they're saying it was in the process of trying to transfer it to his throwing hand. So Woodcock goes down, as do the Cavaliers. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. We head to the 9th, and we're all tied at 5 on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
Are you ready to help your family get prepared for the unexpected?
Here we go!
Ladybug and Cat Noir know how important it is to be ready, because you never know when Hawkmoth is going to strike or a disaster will hit. And you don't need miraculous powers. Just put those planning skills you already have to good use. Make a plan that will help you and your family be ready when emergencies happen. Ready Kids can help. Get started at ready.gov/kids.
Jason, let's go see your room.
How is it? Is it good?
So we're back here at Carson Park. New pitcher for the Cavaliers, Gio Basile. That means Lucas Costley went 8 innings. He gave up 5 runs, only 3 of which were earned, on 7 hits. Struck out 3 and walked 2. Pretty good outing for Lucas Costley. 8th inning cost him. He gave up 3 runs in the 8th inning, but only 1 of those 3 was earned. So Gio Basile coming in the 9th. Tanner Graham leads things off for the Everest Merchants. And the pitch catches the outside corner for a strike.
Ups here, tossing his pitches, and it looks like he's got a curveball, fastball, and a changeup.
That pitch is outside for a ball. Basile looking in. Goes into his motion and delivers. Fouled away off the right side. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You know, I've seen Gio Basile pitch for the Beef River Bullfrogs, and he throws a lot of curveballs when he pitches.
Here's the wind and the 1-2 pitch. Pop up. Garcia dropping back. Redwine coming in, and Redwine makes the catch.
And the Cavs did the right thing there. That would have been a tough play for the Cavaliers' second baseman.
So Wade Farmer comes to the plate. He's 2 for 4. Singled and doubled both to center field. Then popped to short and then flew out to center field. So he likes going right back up the middle with it.
And the Cavs have him played perfect.
Well, we'll see. And the first pitch is a strike on the outer half. That was Basile's fastball. And the pitch. That's outside for a ball.
You know, I've noticed one thing the Cavs do really well this year watching all the games. Their players remember where the players hit the ball to, and they always tell the different position players that.
Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Basile looking in, and he delivers. That's inside for a ball.
You know, when you don't face a team all year, so you really can't scout them, the best you can do is just remember where the guy hit the ball the last couple times he batted.
They do have the last game that they played them over in Wapaka to draw on, but you're right. The most important is what they've been doing that day. Jake Fisher warming up down in the Cavalier bullpen. Foul back into the screen. Count is still full. Andrew Barnowski warming up for the Merchants. And a foul ball back over the press box. Three balls, two strikes, and an out to Wade Farmer. Line shot out into right field. It's going to fall in for a base hit. Cut off there by Redwine and gets it back in right away. Farmer checks in with a single. So one out, runner on first, and brings up Roman McGuire. McGuire is 0 for 3, struck out twice, flew out to center field. In his first appearance, he was hit by the pitch, so he's been on base one time. Pitch is high for a ball.
And Xavier Bemnister plays even with third base.
And the pitch, check swing, foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Basile looks in, checks the runner at first, and delivers. Swing and a miss for a strike. He chased a high fastball that time.
And Timon looked like he was ready to throw him out stealing, but he wasn't stealing.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Throw over to first, and the runner's back. It's Wade Farmer over at first. Roman McGuire at the plate. Gio Basile on the mound. Check swing ball. It was close. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And the pitch. And he's saying that's high for ball 3. Count goes full to Roman McGuire. Basile looks and delivers. High pop foul out of play.
And some of you might ask yourself, how come that base runner on first isn't stealing? Well, they don't want to run themselves out of the inning.
And the pitch. That's inside for ball 4. So 2 runners on with 1 out. Brandon Cran steps to the plate. He's 1 for 3. Singled to second, then flew out to center field and grounded back to first base. He also drew a walk and scored a run his last time up. Check swing high. And the pitch. There's a strike called. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 down, 2 on. We're in the top of the 9th and all tied at 5. Here's the pitch. That one missed. 2 balls and a strike. And the pitch. Ground ball. And it's through the hole into right field. Runners rounds and throw to the plate, but not going to be able to get him. And the runners all advance. Wade Farmer came in to score. So Farmer scores. Roman McGuire goes to third, and Brandon Krantz checks in at second base on the play at the plate. And it'll bring up Josh Nielsen as the Merchants have taken a 6-5 lead. In a game the Cavaliers had the lead nearly the entire game. But the Merchants would not go away. Basile delivers, it's high for a ball.
And with runners on second and third, the third baseman's playing even with the bag, and the first baseman's almost on the grass.
One down. And time called. As Timon wanted time this time.
And the shortstop and the second baseman are about 2 or 3 steps from the grass.
They want to prevent the run from scoring. There's a looper foul down the first baseline.
And had the first baseman been playing normal depth,
he might have had a chance at that.
Yep. But in this situation, you don't do that.
No, when you make defensive adjustments like this, you know you're giving some things up.
But that run at third is crucial because that would put Everest up by 2 runs. And there's a big difference between having a 1-run lead and a 2-run lead.
Here's the pitch. Pop up in the infield, foul territory. Timon makes the catch.
Boy, and if you're the Cavs, that's a big out because now you have more options.
So 2 down. Runners at second and third. And Ryan Hubacek at the plate. And that pitch is on the outside corner for a called strike.
Boy, I like that pitch. It came down the middle and it just broke away.
Hubacek is 2 for 3. Popped back to the pitcher, but since then he's doubled and singled. Here's a ground ball through the hole and into center field. 2 runs going to come in to score. And Hubacek with a 2 RBI single. So in to score is McGuire and Nielsen. Or excuse me, Krantz. So with 2 down, Hubacek's on first, and the Merchants now have an 8-5 lead over the Cavaliers. Pitch is inside for a ball. And the pitch, that's high for ball 2. Here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled away.
You know, if I'm Gio, I'm thinking this guy is not crowding the plate. He's outside. Let's throw an outside pitch. He'll never touch it.
Nick Barnes, open stance. And the pitch. Missed on the inside edge.
He threw those last 2 on the inside. I'd like to see just 1 on the outside.
3 balls and a strike. And that's high for ball 4. And here comes Ryan Bemnister to talk. As Gio Basile, he's been around the plate the whole time, but he's been struggling. And we have a pitching change going to happen, so we'll fill you in on all of that right after this timeout on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network is excited to announce that the new home for Colfax Viking football is now NLWN-TV. Our first game broadcast is coming up on Friday, August 18th. The Colfax Vikings will host the Whitehall Norse. Coverage begins at 6:40 p.m. with Viking Preview. That's live Colfax Viking football on Friday, August 18th, on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
Hey, can you chop the pineapple? Chop the
pineapple.
Nope, I'm high. How about I wash off the grapes?
Yes.
Okay. You're already making good decisions when you're high.
I want tacos. Will you drive? I'm a little toasty.
Nope, I'm high. Let's order in.
Don't make an exception when it comes to driving. If you feel different, you drive different.
And new pitcher for the Cavaliers is Jake Fisher. The numbers for Gio Bazile, he went 2/3 of an inning, gave up 3 runs. All 3 were earned. 3 hits, and he walked 2. And coming into pitch, as we said, Jake Fisher.
And the numbers on Jake Fisher, 2.25 ERA. Exactly 20 innings pitched. He's given up 12 hits and 15 base on balls, and his whip is 1.65.
At the plate, Connor Langman. 2 runners on, 2 down, and the first pitch is a strike called.
Boy, and Fisher came on in that regional playoff game, and boy, did he really help the Cavs. He shut that Whittlesey team right down.
Swung on and fouled back. Fisher bringing quite a bit of speed after the off-speed stuff that Bazile was throwing. Little change of pace. Here's the pitch. Fly ball, foul territory. If there's room, not quite. Woodcock kind of got up close and personal with the fence.
You know, when you point to the reasons that the Cavs are at this state tournament, you can point to Gio Bazile, you can point to Ben Boda, and you can definitely point to this Jake Fisher.
And the pitch. Inside for a ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Fisher pitches, and that missed inside. I think Cole Timon thought that was strike 3. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. Ground ball over to second, scooped up by Garcia, throw to first for the out. So finally, the Cavs get out of the inning, but not before 3 runs by the Merchants on 3 hits. There were no Cavalier errors and 1 man left on base. So we've played 8.5. And it's the Everest Merchants 8 and the Cavaliers 5 on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network is excited to announce that the new home for Colfax Viking football is now NLWN-TV. Our first game broadcast is coming up on Friday, August 18th. The Colfax Vikings will host the Whitehall Norse. Coverage begins at 6:40 p.m. with Viking Preview. That's live Colfax Viking football on Friday, August 18th, on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome. Prediabetes does. 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, but with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. and you can change the outcome. Take the 1-minute pre-diabetes risk test today. Go to doihaveprediabetes.org.
Okay, we head to the bottom of the 9th inning. Cavaliers are not out of this by any stretch, but they need to have a big inning and put up a crooked number.
Yeah, this Everest pitcher is not overpowering by any means at all.
So, Everest has an 8-5 lead as we go into the bottom of the 9th. Due up for the Cavaliers, Josh Garcia, Gio Basile, and Caden Erickson. I suspect that Basile won't be in the DH spot. I suspect that'll be Fisher. You might see somebody else come in for him. First pitch is inside for a ball.
And my hunch is the Cavaliers are going to take a pitch until they get a strike, being down by 3 runs.
Well, Josh Garcia made a liar out of us. He fouls that one away. We had said that he's pretty much gone strictly left-handed. He used to be a switch hitter. Well, he is again because he switched over to the right side now.
And he made a liar out of me, too, because he didn't take a pitch.
Witter. Witter, a lefty. Strike called on the outside corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes. To Josh Garcia. And that pitch is outside, counts even at 2-2. Witter at the belt, and he delivers, and that missed. Full count now to Garcia. Cavs need base runners. And the pitch. Ground ball over towards third, picked up by Nielsen. Throw over to first and in time.
Boy, and that's a good play there. If he doesn't cut that ball off, I think the base runner beats him to first, but since he cut the ball off, he was 3 steps closer to first base, and it's such an easy throw.
Jake Fisher stepping to the plate. Long fly ball out into left field. That's way back, and it's off the warning track. Fisher rounds first. He's going to check in at second with a double. So for a guy who doesn't get a whole lot of at-bats, he sure came through first pitch swinging.
You know, if I'm checking my stats, that's his first hit of the year. He's had 2 at-bats. Good for you, Jake. And we're going to have a mound visit here by the catcher. Probably going to switch up the signs with Fisher on second. They don't want the Cavaliers to pick off their signs.
Takes us back to the top of the order, Caden Erickson. Erickson's 1 for 4. He had a 2 RBI single his last time up. And the pitch, swing and fouled back, right off the catcher's mask.
And if you're the Cavs, you got the part of the batting lineup up that you want. You got the top of the order up.
Erickson 1 for 4. With Jake Fisher on second. Witter on the mound, and he delivers. Soft looper out into right field. Trouble, but over making the catch is Kranz.
Good communication there by Everest. You got to know who's got the ball and who wants it.
That'll bring up Xavier Bemnister. Bemnister is 1 for 4. Singled and scored a run. He's also struck out, grounded to the pitcher, and fouled out to the first baseman. And the pitch. Ground ball, high hopper, picked up by second baseman, throw to first, he threw it away. Bemnister safe on first, and Fisher comes in to score.
And the Cavs aren't out of this yet. They got a long road ahead of them, but don't count them out just yet.
So Bemnister is on an error by the second baseman. Fisher comes in to score. So Gabe O'Brien steps to the plate. He led off the first inning. Well, didn't lead off the first inning, but his at-bat in the first inning resulted in a home run over the right field fence. He looks at strike one here. There's the pitch. Strike two, right down the middle of the plate. Two down, 0-2 pitch. Runner on first. Witter at the belt, and he delivers. And that one got O'Brien right in the knee.
So that'll put the tying run aboard first base.
And brings up Jack Redwine. Redwine is 2 for 3. Singled a couple times with an RBI. Also grounded to short.
Boy, if the Cavs ever wanted a wild pitch, they want one right here.
O'Brien is favoring that right knee a little bit. Takes a pretty good lead. Nobody covering him. Fly ball out into center field. Coming in is Farmer. And he makes the catch, and that'll do it. So, for the Cavaliers, they do pick up 1 run on 1 hit. There was 1 error, and 2 were left on base. Final score in this one, it's the Everest Merchants 8 and the Cavaliers 6. And we'll have more when we get to Talking Baseball right after this timeout on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
Colfax High School football action is coming your way on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-2. Coming up on Friday, August 25th, the Colfax Vikings will travel to Aleva-Strum High School to take on the Aleva-Strum Cardinals. Coverage begins at 6:40 p.m. with Viking Preview. That's live Colfax Viking football on Friday, August 25th, on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-2.
You've been tuned to Talkin' Baseball with a wrap-up of today's WBA State Tournament pooled play game, brought to you by Mama Squirrels Cleaning and more. This has been a production of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. You've been tuned to the Wisconsin Baseball Association State Tournament pooled play on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. Stay tuned, up next is Talkin' Baseball with a wrap-up of this game. Time now for Talkin' Baseball with a wrap-up of today's WBA State Tournament pooled play game, brought to you by Mama Squirrels Cleaning and more. And now, back out to the ballpark.
Back here at Carson Park, and Cavaliers drop a game today in the state tournament pool play by a score of 8-6 in a game that the Cavaliers led actually pretty much the whole game until very late in the game. And they gave up the lead and then finally let the Everest Merchants take the lead. So the Cavaliers, while the Merchants got 8 runs on 10 hits, they committed 1 error. Cavaliers got 6 runs on 9 hits, and they committed 2 errors. The winning pitcher was Matt Witter, and the losing pitcher was Gio Bazile. The Merchants moved their record up to 15 wins and 7 losses on the year. The Cavaliers went to 21-17. Cavalier season comes to an end following that loss, and as there is no possibility for them now to play tomorrow, and so the season ends with that 21-17 record. All in all, under a new manager and a lot of new faces, a pretty successful season, making it to the state tournament for the Cavaliers, and they've got a lot to hang their hat on and a lot to be happy about and a lot to look forward to for next season. They've got a solid core of pitching that if they can hang on to all of them, pretty solid infield, a very solid outfield, and so they just need to get the bats wound up a little bit, and then life could be really good in Cavalier land. And I'm looking to see if we're going to get Ryan Bemnister up here. We may. So I'll tell you what, we're going to take a brief time out here and see if we can get Ryan up here, and then we'll be ready on Talking Baseball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
My character, Shazam, knows all about growing up in a family full of teenage superheroes. They're bold. Where's everyone going?
To fight crime?
Okay. Adventurous. Shazam! There's never a dull moment. And no matter what happens, they'll always have your back. All they need is a place to grow and be themselves. And the best part is, you don't have to be a superhero to adopt a teen. Learn more about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org. You can't imagine the reward.
When you look at the number of disasters in the U.S., chances are every area will deal with some kind of emergency in the next decade. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
And we're back here at Carson Park talking with Cavalier manager Ryan Bemnister. And Ryan, not the end of the season you were hoping for. In fact, you got through 7 innings and it was looking pretty good, but then the bottom kind of fell out and the Merchants wouldn't go away.
Yeah, it's a good team over there. We played them earlier this season. Played them last season, you know, and yeah, good. You know, I wish them the best luck. I hope they go out there and give a run for their money, and they deserve it. That's a good group of guys.
And, you know, the future's actually got to look pretty good for the Cavaliers. You've got a pretty solid pitching staff, and I was just going through it. Your infield is pretty good. You've got a couple of places you could use some depth, but not too bad in the infield. Outfield's pretty decent out there. You just need a few more bats to bring things around.
Yeah, well, it's a young group of kids. You know, it's a big turnover, 7, 8 players this year. It's hard to not have the same group of 20 guys or something like that. You're not going to have that, but you hope you only interchange out 1 or 2 players. We talked after the game, and I had the senior leadership kind of reiterated the fact that we were thinking is we could be really dangerous if we keep this group together for 2 or 3 years. I'm hoping we can do that.
And that could be very, very exciting. So you finished the season with a 21-17 record, and at first that doesn't sound like world beaters or anything. But boy, oh boy, you guys sure came on strong at the end of the season.
Yeah, I don't listen to records or anything like that. I look at how we play, and we played big in all the big games. And again, it's a young team, a learning team. I don't know, all year long if we had maybe 5 games where we had a full roster of guys here. There's always guys missing and this and that, and I get that. That's a thing, but I really hope we have some guys that stick with us and that care for the game like these guys do, and they're here every single week in and out, finding ways to just be here to be a supporter or anything like that. That's what we need.
A few more Cole Hyman's and Lucas Costley's wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, just be here every week in and week out, regardless if you're playing or not playing or what your role. You never know what's going to happen, and it's just it's the nature of it all, and we'll be fine. And it'd be nice to see this group back, and we can go from there.
Well, on behalf of the Northern Light Webcasting Network, I want to thank you and the rest of the Cavaliers for giving us the opportunity this season to bring Cavalier baseball to the fans, and we've had a great time, and you've made it really easy, and don't be surprised if I show up down at the Goat Coffee House and just chat with you anyway, just for the heck of it. It's become a habit.
Yeah, don't bring your camera.
No, I won't.
Thank you guys for everything you did too, so I appreciate that, and thank all the fans for showing up in and out. It's a good group of kids. If you get a chance to go up to them and see them in passing, just tell them you really appreciate how good they did this year.
All right, and well, thank you for joining us today and talking baseball, and we'll be back right after this timeout.
Regardless of where you are on your path to retirement, you can still take charge of your financial future today. Visit aceyourretirement.org and answer a few questions from Avo, your friendly digital retirement coach, for free tips, resources, and advice customized for your situation to help you feel confident and prepared for retirement. Retirement looks different for everyone. Make sure you're prepared for your financial future at aceyourretirement.org.
Back here at Carson Park, and going to wrap up some talking baseball here. Don't forget to join us for our next game. I would say probably in about 20-25 minutes or so, we'll have the Hudson River Rats taking on the Spooner Cardinals right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. Our Geno's player of the game today was Campbell Kapanke, and he did score, so you do get to be a winner out of this game by going out to Geno's tomorrow and dropping Campbell's name. Get a free appetizer for your table courtesy of Campbell Kapanke and the nice folks out at Geno's Pizza. Today's WBA tournament baseball game is brought to you by Geno's Pizza, right next to Action City near the intersections of Highway 93 and I-94. Midwest Environmental Consultants, lawn care and soil testing experts for Western Wisconsin. The Goat Coffee House at 336 Water Street for good coffee and great sandwiches. Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax, comfort food the way Mom used to make it. Menominee Eye and Optical with quality personalized care for you and your family. Mama Squirrel's Cleaning and More, ready to get your house sparkling. Your Napa Auto Parts store at 3580 Mall Drive in Eau Claire. Slayton's Technology Service, the official IT provider for the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Royal Credit Union, where they're different in a good way. So be sure to thank these fine sponsors for bringing you WBA State Tournament baseball action on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. So for Dan Petchow on the camera, Ben Ryder doing our analyst work today, and Ann Monroe on the computer. This is Rick Olson. That final score once again, the Everest Merchants 8, Cavaliers 6. We'll be back in roughly 20-25 minutes with the second game today on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
You've been tuned to Talkin' Baseball with a wrap-up of today's WBA State Tournament pooled play game, brought to you by Mama Squirrel's Cleaning and More. This has been a production of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.